Imagine you're on the pitch, the crowd roaring, the lights blinding, and then suddenly, darkness. Picture this, you're in the heat of the game, the adrenaline pumping through your veins, the thrill of the chase, the anticipation of the goal. And then, out of nowhere, your world goes black. You can't see the ball, your teammates, the goalpost, nothing. You're plucked out of the exhilarating game and thrust into an eerie silence, a void. You're left grappling with the unknown, the unseen. It's a chilling thought, isn't it? But this isn't some far-fetched nightmare. It's a reality that many football players face, a risk that lurks in the shadows every time they step onto the field. Football, a game celebrated for its spirit and camaraderie, carries with it an unseen threat, the danger of injuries. These injuries, often overlooked, can change the course of a player's life in the blink of an eye. Go back in time to the inception of football, a game of strength and skill, a game of passion. Picture the early days of this beloved sport. It's a time when football was more than just a game. It was a spectacle, a test of might and agility, a battlefield where athletes became gladiators. The rules were simple: 2 teams, 1 ball, and the goal to outscore the opponent. But the complexity of strategy, teamwork, and individual brilliance made it anything but simple. The game quickly caught the imagination of the masses. It began to spread like wildfire, from muddy fields of small towns to the colossal stadiums of bustling cities. People from all walks of life flocked to witness this thrilling spectacle. It was the sight of a perfectly executed pass, the thrill of a last-minute goal, and the shared ecstasy of victory that drew them in. In those early days, safety was a secondary concern. The players were warriors, the field their arena, and they played with a reckless abandon that only heightened the spectacle. There were no helmets, no protective gear, just the raw courage of men willing to risk it all for the love of the game. But football wasn't just a physical test, it was a mental one as well. Teams had to devise strategies, read the opponent's game, and make split-second decisions. The players had to be quick on their feet, not just physically but mentally too. The game was brutal, yes, but there was a beauty in that brutality. It was the beauty of human spirit, of pushing boundaries, of overcoming odds. It was the beauty of victory earned through sweat, grit, and determination. And yet beneath the exhilarating rush of the game, a darker reality lurked. As the popularity of football soared, so did the frequency of injuries. Broken bones, concussions, sprains, and strains became the hidden cost of the game's glory. And as football rose, so did the injuries, hidden beneath the glory and applause. Enter the unseen threat lurking in the shadows of the game. Football in all its glory has a dark side that often remains hidden, a side that strikes fear into the hearts of players, coaches, and spectators alike. This menace is not some formidable opposing team, nor is it the pressure of the spotlight. It's an enemy that is far more insidious, one that can bring even the strongest athlete to their knees. We're talking about injuries. Football injuries are a common occurrence, an unfortunate side effect of the game's physical nature. From minor sprains and strains to major fractures and dislocations, the risk is always there. But it's the injuries we don't see that are the most alarming. Concussions, for instance, are a silent threat that can have devastating long-term effects, yet they often go unnoticed and underreported. Then there's chronic traumatic encephalopathy, or CTE, a degenerative brain disease found in athletes with a history of repetitive brain trauma, including symptomatic concussions and asymptomatic subconcussive hits to the head. Imagine a player at the top of his game, suddenly forgetting plays, losing focus, experiencing mood swings, all signs of an invisible injury that often goes undetected until it's too late. The trouble with these injuries is not just their stealthy nature. It's also the fact that they can have long-term effects that reach far beyond the football field. Memory loss, depression, even suicide. These are all potential consequences of the hidden danger that lurks within the game. But the biggest issue of all, the underreporting. Many athletes, driven by their love for the game and the desire to play, choose to downplay or ignore their injuries. It's a dangerous game of denial that only serves to exacerbate the problem. Players were falling not to their opponents but to their own bodies. This is the hidden danger of football, the unseen threat that casts a dark shadow over the beautiful game. It's a threat we must acknowledge and address for the sake of the players and the future of the sport we all love. But every dark tale has its heroes, fighting for the light. In the heart of our story emerges a group of valiant warriors, taking the lead in the battle for safety in football. The threats lurking in the shadows of this beloved game have been brought to the fore, and now it's time to tackle them head-on. The first line of defense was the introduction of safety gear. Helmets, already a part of the game, were redesigned with advanced technology, providing increased protection against concussions. The evolution didn't stop there. Shoulder pads became more robust, mouthguards became a necessity, and even the humble cleat was re-engineered for better grip and injury prevention. But it wasn't just about the gear. The rules of the game began to change. Authorities understood that to protect the players, they had to go beyond just physical protection. They needed to change the way the game was played, so they introduced new regulations to minimize the risk of injury. Tackling techniques were scrutinized and revamped. The dangerous spear tackling, where players lead with their helmet, was banned. A heightened focus was placed on player conduct, with stricter penalties for reckless behavior on the field. The fight for safety also extended off the field. Teams started investing in medical staff and facilities, ensuring immediate attention for injured players. Player health was no longer just about recovering from injuries, but about preventing them in the first place. In this battle, every player, coach, and fan became a hero, each playing their part in making the game safer. And yet, the fight wasn't just about the gear, or the rules, or the medical facilities. It was about changing the culture of the game, about understanding that the thrill of the game should never come at the cost of a player's health. The unseen threat was finally seen, but the fight was far from over. The heroes of our tale knew they had a long road ahead, but they were ready to face it, for the love of the game and the safety of its players. Today, the battle against football injuries continues. As we speak, players, coaches, medical professionals, and the entire football community are locked in a relentless pursuit of safety. This is a battle fought not just on the field, but off it as well, in labs, conference rooms, and training grounds worldwide. The issues at hand are complex and multifaceted. From concussions and brain injuries to musculoskeletal damage, the risks are real and ever-present. But so too is the commitment to tackle them head-on. There's a groundswell of initiatives aimed at reducing injuries. For instance, the dawn of advanced equipment technology has ushered in an era of helmets that can absorb and disperse impact, shin guards that can withstand the toughest tackles, and boots designed to maximize grip and minimize ankle injuries. Simultaneously, there's a revolution in training methods. Today's players are trained not just to play, but to protect themselves and their fellow players. They're taught to tackle safely, to fall correctly, and to recognize when they or a teammate might be at risk. Furthermore, research is ongoing, with scientists and doctors tirelessly studying the effects of the game on the human body. They're seeking to understand, mitigate, and ultimately prevent the injuries that can occur. In addition, the rules of the game are being constantly reviewed and updated. The authorities are working to strike a balance between maintaining the spirit and excitement of football while ensuring the safety of those who play it. Yet despite these efforts, the battle is far from over. Football, by its nature, is a physical, high-impact sport. Injuries will occur, but every measure taken, every piece of equipment improved, every rule revised, brings us one step closer to a safer game. The unseen threat remains, but so does the resolve to defeat it. The football community will press on, striving for a game that thrills and captivates without compromising the well-being of those who give it their all. The battle continues, but with each passing day, victory comes ever closer. Despite the threat, the game goes on, and so does the love for it. Football, with its mesmerizing dance of strategy and skill, continues to captivate hearts worldwide, despite the risks. It's more than just a sport, it's a symphony of human spirit, where every goal scored echoes the triumph of determination over adversity. Every slide tackle, every header, every sprint down the pitch is a testament to the resilience of those who play the game and those who cheer them on. Yet, the love for the game doesn't blind us to the need for safety. It fuels our relentless pursuit for it. We strive for the day when every player steps onto the pitch with the confidence that they are protected from the unseen threats. We rally for progress, not just in the game, but in the protection of those who make it what it is. Because in the end, football is not just a game, it's a passion, a lifestyle, a legacy, and that is worth protecting.